Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Underwater Astrology. I definitely want to go over some transits that are happening this year to be very clear about what to expect for the next 8 months or just less than. And I think there's a lot of things that will happen this year that will recreate feelings of what we were feeling earlier this year at moments, but it's just a moment. It's just temporary illusion, and I'll tell you why this is happening. Predominantly because Pluto is going back in Capricorn. And why we feel that is because as soon as Pluto went into Aquarius, Pluto's still in Aquarius, it's May 23rd, 2023, but as soon as, Pluto goes back into Capricorn, or that feeling of Pluto going back into Capricorn, there is going to be this a little bit, I don't know if it's hits of anxiety, but it will be this deep knowing of deep surrender of gratitude to knowing that we've experienced Pluto in Aquarius. We hold that vibration, and we still must maintain a relationship with that vibration, because that's the vibration we'll attain as soon as we go to January 24th, 2024. We will have the attainment of that vibration of Pluto in Aquarius direct, not going back into Capricorn ever. It will just be direct in Aquarius for the next 20 years. But as Pluto has been back in retrograde May 1st, it has definitely been the square with the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and as we go to Pluto in Capricorn, we will learn how to understand how some people's consciousness will be like a rock. You can't move it. You can't shake it. You can't break it. And what you need to do is create the adaptability to understand that people are just trying to initiate their dominance and power. As soon as you see that, you realize it's just an initiation. You don't tag along, you don't play the game. You realize you come into gratitude for what you have on the earthly plane. Remember, Aquarius is fixed air, it's ethereal. Capricorn is the earth. So maybe we come back into Capricorn by June 11th, and there's just much more. It'll be 5:35 a.m. We'll have much more appreciation of everything we've gone through with Pluto and Aquarius. It was a moment that we should all remember. Remember, Pluto went into Aquarius. Let me pull up the dates. Pluto went into Aquarius earlier this year. Let me pull up a date. Pluto went into Aquarius March 23rd, 2023, right? March 23rd, 2023, Pluto went into 0 degrees Aquarius. And I remember the feeling, because right after Pluto went into Aquarius, it was also the same time that I want to say Saturn went into Pisces. But let me look. Saturn went into Pisces March 7th, and Pluto went into Aquarius March 23rd. Around that time, that was when I physically felt an alleviation of heavier vibrations go into much lighter vibrations for my generation, of radical awareness of mental health and just how much space we can truly take up to really realize how much beauty there is in art. And Aquarius trines Gemini and trines Libra, and Aquarius is an intellectual sign that needs stimulation, that needs a little bit of visual validation in ways. It needs to know that there is, and it will always be visually validated in the vibration of knowing within the air. I think it's just so important to realize that we were in a fixed sign. Pluto was going to be in Aquarius in a fixed sign, and that brought intensity in the vision and just knowing exactly how you were going to do things. For me, it felt like a liberation for women on so many fronts. I felt like I could take a break from a bit of a facade. I think I was playing towards the end of Pluto and Capricorn, a facade that everything was really equal and equity was really available. I really think, I'm not trying to be negative, but I think Pluto and Aquarius was just like, it's really not. Everything isn't equal. There's so much body shaming still going online. There's so much need for hypermasculinity in people need to be validated in their hypermasculinity of just the way they do things. I think femininity was so pushed under the rug, but what I like about Pluto in Aquarius is that it's not saying that hypermasculinity is correct. And it's not saying that femininity is incorrect. It was just do what you want because it's Aquarius and love your life. And that's why I loved Pluto in Aquarius. I felt radical freedom. And I think coming back into Capricorn, there will be a restriction. And it's kind of like you choose how you play. With when we go into Pluto in Capricorn for 29 degrees, nobody's really talking about this, but Pluto's going to be in 29 degrees for a couple months, and I'll pull up the exact dates for how long we'll be in Pluto in 29 degrees. Hold up. Okay, guys, I got the facts. Pluto in Capricorn is in the 29th critical degree of hyper-knowing from June 11th to July 26th, 2023. So there will be a month and a week where, I want to say a week and a half, where you're just going to you're going to know the speed of things, but you're going to understand just how much solitude is going to be so important in this time. With Jupiter in Taurus, with Pluto in Capricorn, you're going to create, this is a time to create a gratitude practice. This is a time to kind of hone in on your gifts and kind of elaborate on them with such deep introspection to the future we've had from Pluto and Aquarius, giving us light, giving us a torch into the future, giving us so much insight on what we'll face in the next 20 years. And Pluto and Aquarius didn't even have time to really develop and get into the ripeness of Aquarius. It didn't even go into the first degree. And so that's what's so exciting, is that we have years of Pluto and Aquarius. We have years of fun and awesomeness. And we have this 1 month where we just have to get through it. And that's June 11th again to July 26th, 2023, a month and a week and a half. I want to say 5 weeks and a half, where it's going to be Pluto in the 29th degree, and it's going to go by quick. But it's going to be your devotion, your spiritual practice that does not alienate from what you want and what you know. Because by the time we've gone into Pluto and Aquarius with Saturn and Pisces restricting Neptune's limits, thank God, at this point, you can't really, I feel like when it goes back into Capricorn, you can't really be there's 8 paths. I feel like by this time, a lot of people will have, I want to say 35% of the population who really plays out really well with astrology and follows it is going to realize this path of there is restriction in my life now, but it's a good restriction, and I need to create more gratitude. I need more solitude. I need to be in who I am and not hide from that. Because I think when you come into your essence with Pluto and Capricorn, it's like your essence. Your vibration shines like a light, but you don't want to be attracting all sorts of things and creepy crawlies from under the bridge. You got to be no, I don't want that lifestyle anymore. Because Capricorn, remember, it's earth, it's rock, it's not moving as much, where Aquarius was air, it was intellectuality. You cannot come back into the stagnance of who you are, but rather adapt to knowing that it's going to go back into Aquarius, excuse me, January 24th, 2024, which is going to be awesome. And it's don't get too comfortable with Pluto and Capricorn, because it's going to go back right into Aquarius, right where it was destined to be. And it's going to be awesome, because by this time, there's going to be so many retrogrades. There's, I don't know if I talked about it before, but I have a video out about Jupiter retrograde that's starting just after the summer, September 4th, and 15 degrees Taurus. And that's why I think just after we hit the midpoint of July, right as we come into the summer solstice, right as we switch Tropic of Capricorn into Tropic of Cancer, and the time shift and the days are longer. I think it's really going to be about like observing things from a higher self. We're not going back into Pluto and Capricorn with the lower self. We're going in with the higher self, knowing that it's matched to the vibration of Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius, where it's destined to be, but understanding the experience of what we might see come back up with the retrograde in Pluto and Capricorn. And it's here the objectivity of knowing what you have honed in with Pluto and Aquarius, all the amazing gifts and beautiful things that have happened, and holding on to that and realizing these things have time to elaborate as we come into retrograde season just after we hit midpoint in July. I will like to say that Pluto's already in retrograde and will be in retrograde till October 10th, where it will go to the 27th degree of Capricorn. Remember, the 27 was just like the anticipation of something amazing happening, and then 28 is the manifestation of something extremely beautiful in our lives, here to stay with us forever once we go into Pluto in 28th. And Pluto in 29th is working the vibration up to eliminate everything that truly doesn't serve us. So by the time we go into Pluto in Aquarius, maybe our lives are a bit more simple. Maybe our realism, our expectations are a lot more simpler again. It could be so refined, because remember, there was so much happening at the end of 2022. And there was so much happening when Pluto was in Capricorn in the 28th degree and the 27th degree. A lot of people wanted to manifest things with just thinking that because I think something, I can manifest it, right? But I think that was also the bridge into seeing just how there is a lot going on that we are not seeing being broadcasted, that's happening, like human trafficking, like, prostitution, these things, illegal ways of that, and we're not seeing it. And there's so much, there's still kidnapping, there's all sorts of crimes and things going on. We don't see it. We don't want to be in that vibration. But I want to say, sometimes when you rush to your dreams, sometimes when you think it's like snakes and ladders, right? Sometimes when you think you can just get from A to Z in one day, right? And I'm talking about career here again, because underwater astrology does love personality and career. It's about, and I also do other sorts of deep dives into your astrology chart, but it's really branching off of those three things, like your love relationship, your career relationship, and your personality. But when we go back into Capricorn, remember the things that were happening at the end of 2022, and don't try to rush and project. I think right now the universe is working with us, knowing that she's shown us, Pluto in Aquarius, she has, and then God is there too, listening to the love or vibration of love. And I think it's truly refining, truly a time of refinement. I think it is a time to question what the ads we're seeing and how that affects us. I mean, Pluto in Capricorn is very earthy, so it could be simple things like just drinking more water and going out for walks. It could be like just needing to focus on the longevity more. And I think with Pluto coming back into Capricorn, we all know that by having Pluto in Capricorn since 2008, I want to say, since 2023, I want to say we've had it for 15 years. If anything you've learned in Pluto in Capricorn, anything you start in this time is about longevity, right? And maybe some of us forgot. Maybe some of us forgot what